Hey, this is Robert again. This is the third tutorial for our new Studio 2 or Studio 12, sorry, animation backgrounds. This is a different kind of animation background. This is kind of in the central area of the main studio, and I was just going to kind of show you how a simple way to work with this particular background and some different ways that you can kind of play with it and that kind of thing. Let me just kind of play this through and show you what we've got here. We've got a animated studio or animated monitor coming down, showing a little B-roll clip. We've got our main talent lady here, and then I'll also show you within this one clip. There's actually a bunch of different variations as far as where the monitor animates down to, and then I'll show you kind of how you extend out that scene so that you can use it for longer than 15 or 20 seconds. So let me first start off by deleting my little example here. Delete those. Okay, so I'm going to import in the footage files that we're using for this example. So we've got this little standing animation, Virtual Studio 12 background animation, little broadcaster clip that we've got, and then the breaking news little motion background that we're going to put in the monitor there. So we'll select those clips, drag them into our third tutorial bin there, and next, what we'll do is we'll go to File, New, Sequence, and this is where you select your resolution, frame rate, that kind of thing. We'll call this Sequence Tutorial 3, and then click OK. We're going to do a 1080p version. We'll click OK there. All right, so that sets us up a little timeline here. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select and drag our broadcaster animation, or not animation, but footage down to the timeline. And you can see where I have our assistant there. And so the first thing I need to do is knock out the green background in this particular clip. And so the best way to do that is to come over to your effects library. If it's hidden for some reason, you need to get to it, you can go to Window, Effects, and it'll show up. What we're going to do is we're going to apply a Chroma Key effect to the clip. It'll knock out the green. There are multiple Chroma Key effects. The easiest way that I found to find the effect that you want, you can go and click Video Effects, and then go down to Keying and click that. You can also click this little search button right there and start typing in key, and then it brings up all the effects that have key in the name there. There's Chroma Key, Blue Screen Key, Color Key, all sorts of different kinds of keys, and this Ultra Key as well. Chroma Key is a lot of people try to use this one first. It's okay. I'll apply it here real quick. It's just a little rougher. It doesn't quite pull things out real cleanly. You can see there's a little bit of edge to it, and you can do it, but it just takes a little bit of finagling. But if you use this Ultra Key plugin that's also included in Premiere, if you click on it, drag it onto the broadcaster clip that you have, and then in the Effects Controls tab, you drop it down, you select the eyedropper, go over and sample the green in your video, and you can see it already kind of does a nicer job of removing that key just kind of right off the bat. You can go in and do adjust these different settings, that kind of thing, get a really nice clean key. I'm not going to do that right now because it's just an example, but you can definitely get some of the spill taken out of the scene and that kind of thing. There's also some defaults. There's like a relaxed and aggressive setting, which will aggressive is just more aggressive about getting the green or whatever color you've sampled out of the scene. So I'm just going to click that. That kind of takes a lot of that green and kind of cleans it up just a little bit more so that we can use it. So the next thing, actually I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to right click on this video 3 layer and rename it Talent like that, just so that we stay nice and organized. The next clip I'm going to drop down is the Virtual Studio background. And what I'm actually going to do with this one, if I double click it, I'll kind of preview it for you in the source window. And if I play through it, you'll see that it has, an animation there. Little green comes in on the monitor, and then it plays. And you got it on the right, and then it plays through, and you have a center animated one, and there's also a sideways animated one. And so what you can do is you can kind of decide which animation you would like to use in your production. We're just going to use this particular one right here. But because it does that, we kind of have to isolate this portion of the clip and then extend, basically pause and extend the rest of the clip throughout the scene that we're using. And so the way that we'll do that, it's kind of tricky, but the way we'll do it is we'll set up a new sequence. So we'll go File, New, Sequence, and we'll call this one Virtual Studio. Okay. And we'll drag this studio, the standing one studio, down onto the timelines. This kind of a separate little sequence that we're going to mess with. And so if I zoom in just a little bit on the timeline, I can play it through. I'm going to play it through until we get to the start of the next clip. So we'll stop it right there. And so we'll select the clip, make sure your layer is selected, go to marker, or actually sequence, razor tracks, and then we'll select, that'll make a cut right where the timeline is. We'll select that rest of that extra clip and delete it so that it goes away. And so now what we'll do is I'll select this clip, either do Control-C or Edit Copy, and then come a little further down and do Edit Paste right there. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put a marker on the clip where we want the clip to pause. So we want the clip to pause where the animated monitor is already down, and then we want to be able to extend it for however long our scene is so that we can use it for the whole production. So where we've got this, where the monitor comes all the way down right there, we'll put our timeline, and then we'll select the clip on the layer there, and then go to Marker, Set Clip Marker, next Available Numbered Marker. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little marker right on that clip. It's actually, I think, number 0 marker, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to tell the software to pause the clip at that marker. And so if you right-click on this layer and you go to Frame Hold, you want to check mark Hold On, and then select the drop-down and go down to marker 0. And so that's going to hold the video on marker 0 right there. Then we hit OK. And so now if actually extend this clip out to the duration of what the clip is, normally you'd see it animate the other monitors, and you'd have the left monitor and the right monitor and the sideways monitor. But now since it's been, since we're holding on this marker area right there, it's just, it's basically just keeping right there. Okay, and so we'll kind of drag that until it bumps up against the other monitor, so there's no gap or anything like that. I don't think there's a gap. Yeah, and then you can either copy this clip, paste all the way down the line. You can also right-click on it again, go to Speed and Duration, and change that to like 10%, something like that. That will basically reduce the speed of the clip, but it really doesn't matter because we've got it paused right now. And it'll just keep it down for the entire length of our, if the lady's given a presentation or something like that, it'll leave it down for the entire length of that. So now if we go back to our tutorial sequence here, where we have our broadcaster, if we drop this, where is it? There it is. This Virtual Studio sequence that we just created, if we drop the sequence, we embed the sequence into the layer 2 here, right beneath the girl, then you can see that we've got, it's a nice long sequence. So we can, if we had a longer clip of the girl, we could go all the way out to 4 minutes on that and you can extend it for however long you want. Okay, and she's a little bit high here on the scene, so I'm gonna next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select her layer, go to the effect controls, motion, position, and then just kind of bring her down just a hair so that she's not quite so high in the scene. All right, and now we're going to place a piece of footage in this animated monitor area here. And what I have for that is this little breaking news clip, so that we'll use this nice little animation motion background. And so I'll click that, drag it onto this final layer, the bottom layer. And actually I'm going to right click on the video 2 layer and rename it to Studio. So we know that one's the studio, and I'll right click on this video 1 layer and call it B-roll, since it's our little animation thing. Okay, so we've got to apply a chroma key to the studio layer to knock out this green, and so we're going to do the exact same, use the exact same key as we used on the on our talent. We use the Ultra key, drag it onto the Virtual Studio sequence, go to your effect controls with the sequence selected, Ultra key, drop it down, select the eyedropper tool, sample the green in your scene, boom, it pops out, and you've got your animation showing up in the background there. Next, I'm going to lock down the top 2 layers, so lock down the talent layer and the studio layer. You've got your B-roll layer, and we're going to scale it. We're going to select the B-roll layer, the animation, go to motion, scale it down a little bit. You can come over into your preview monitor area and click and drag. Since you have the other layers locked, you can kind of easily get to this layer. You can kind of position it there, and then we're actually going to do apply a little bit of a 3D effect to the layer, and so that we can kind of match that pan tilt of the monitor, their animated monitor. So go over to your effects library, start typing in the number 3 and then D as in dog. You'll see that there is a video effect underneath perspective folder called Basic 3D. Apply that to the motion background layer. Go to the effect controls, Basic 3D. We're going to swivel it just a little bit, just a hair, and then we'll kind of scale it. And it's going to be a little off. It'll act as kind of a mask to get it in there, but you get the kind of the idea there. And so now, when the animation comes down, we play back through. You'll see we have our presenter, and then we have our motion background showing up in the animation there, animated monitor, and then it'll extend out for however long that we need it to go.